Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is the first title to be released by developer 38 Studios. Started by baseball star Kurt Schilling and boasting an impressive cast of designers like author R.A. Salvatore and graphic novel artist Todd McFarlane. The studio's pedigree is interesting to say the least. Let's see how the fruits of their labor turn out. Welcome to Leisure Gamer. We review games using a unique set of criteria to see if they're worth fitting into your busy life. The Kingdoms of Amalur are in turmoil. A splinter group of the immortal Fae called the Tuatha De Danann have seized power and have waged a bloody war against the mortal races of the world. As the defenders' numbers dwindle, the unending Fae seem poised to wipe the world clean of all mortals.
What do you think this one is then, Alpha?
You enter this world as a corpse being disposed of as a failed experiment. Of course, being the main character, everything is not as it seems. You awaken in a grotesque pile of other failed experiments and must make your way out of the morbid caverns you find yourself in. As the first successful experiment of an artifact known as the Well of Souls, you soon learn that your fate is not set. Unlike every other inhabitant of Amalur, your fate is what you make of it.
Then your path is yours to determine.
Right off the bat, you'll notice that visually, the game looks great. Dark, dank caverns are a nice, ominous counterpoint to the colorful forests and bright outdoor areas. There is a clear visual theme giving the game a storybook atmosphere. From the flashy magical effects to the cartoonish characters and fantastical locations, the designers have done a great job giving the game a unique visual appeal. The game really comes together during the combat. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning has a very action-centric combat system featuring move combinations and special attacks, not unlike games like Devil May Cry or God of War. It even comes complete with 3 upgradable skill trees. The action flows well between melee, magic, and ranged attacks and looks real impressive to boot. The music becomes booming and sound effects add just the right amount of impact to the exciting combat mechanic. Outside of combat, however, the game seems to fall flat most of the time. The story has an interesting premise, and with a massive new world to explore, I wanted to learn about it and my place in it as much as possible. Sadly, most of your information comes from talking to NPCs, and the conversation system is flat out boring. The voice acting in this game is fairly good, but the character animations are atrocious, and mostly consist of watching your character's dumb expression or the NPC's lips move as you both stand rigid. The few times the NPCs tried to emote, it just came off goofy.
Of the wood and the evil of wicked hearts. I fear for Brother Egan's soul. He knows nothing of the world of Fae and Alpha, trust and temptation.
The sound design takes a dive outside of combat as well. Running around the overworld is delightfully accompanied by a great fantasy tune, while dungeons have no accompaniment and rely solely on the ambient sound effects to give a sense of atmosphere. This works well enough, but there were times when I was just going through my inventory or reading some lore to the sound of dead silence. I found myself playing the game more like a hack-and-slash dungeon crawler than an epic role-playing game. The game features 3 difficulty levels: casual, normal, and hardcore. For veterans of hack-and-slash games, I would definitely suggest hardcore to make it a challenge, as even at the highest difficulty, I managed to survive without dying once. Casual truly makes the game a walk in the park, and normal won't give one too much trouble at all, and is perfect for anyone unsure of their chances with the fast-paced combat. The combat itself is pretty easy to get the hang of, but mastering the timings could take some practice. This is really only important on the highest difficulty, so the controls shouldn't bar anyone from enjoying this game. The save system in Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is pretty standard and allows players to manually save whenever their heart desires. It also autosaves at area transitions, but in a large dungeon or on a long quest, make sure to save often as there can sometimes be long gaps between autosaves. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning earns the rating of Standard for its 3 levels of difficulty and a save system that allows you to save whenever you want. It'll even help you out with an autosave or 2 for the habitual forgetful savers like me. Turn off your cell phone and lock your door. You're going to need to limit your distractions to make a dent in this game. exhausting all dialogue options with an NPC alone could take 20 minutes, and navigating the massive world could take even longer. Getting to the combat, which is where I consider the true meat of this game to be, can take a while, and might leave you dissatisfied if you don't have the time to make it all the way through to some action. There are even hidden chests, alchemical regions, and lore stones scattered throughout the world that could add hours upon hours for those completionists out there. The pacing of the game clearly lends itself to the late night atmosphere. Sit back and get comfortable, because you're in for the long haul if you want any hope of completing this game before next winter rolls around.
She could be mistaken for a fate weaver. So when Lystrom came back to town, here was Artol the Oracular.
Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning succeeds in some areas and fails in others. When you're slicing your way through waves of enemies, looting chests, and leveling your character, the game is a blast. Sometimes, getting to those parts can be kind of a chore. NPCs are hard to connect with, quests are generic, and the game provides only mediocre challenge at even the highest of difficulty.
A man who sweats to feed his family. Goreheart has become a sort of refuge for those settlers who wish to live a life.
I am genuinely interested in the backstory of this brand new world, but all the dialogue to go through kinda puts me off that idea. This surely is a game that requires a large time investment to truly explore, and at the end of the day, the gamer can't really even be sure if it's worth it. Did I want to continue playing? Yes, but I really have to look at the time I have and whether this game would make the best of it. That being said, there really is no barrier to entry. It's a new game, so you don't have to worry about not knowing what's going on, and the combat is simple yet satisfying, with a lot of room for customization. Check out Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning yourself and see if the game has what it takes to pull you in, and if you've got enough time to see it through.
Perhaps I should go see.
Sir! Mr. Hughes! The dwarf have reached the lab! They're inside the lab!
No! We've got to get you out of here now! Quickly! Follow the path to the town of Goreheart. Find Agath. He's a friend, and he may be able to help. No matter what else, stay alive!
Don't forget to subscribe and share your own thoughts on the game. Till next time, enjoy gaming.
Go!